We are getting our bookworm on this morning. Wendy Simons is an award-winning Michigan author whose latest novel, Weeding Out the Lies, is a haunting Mackinac Island story of love transcending time and space. Wendy joins us via Zoom to tell us about it. Wendy?
From the time I was a kid, my parents brought me up to Mackinac Island, so I've always been intrigued with the place. I worked there the summer after high school. And then a few years ago, because I love to browse around Zillow, I found a house for sale in Hubbard's Annex. And it had been for sale for a couple of years. And all the pictures were of this old funky cottage, beautiful, but it wasn't selling. And so I was trying to figure out, why wouldn't this place sell? There's nothing else for sale out there. So I wrote a story, and it's a woman who believes that her life had no future because all the women in her family had dementia and died early. So when this inheritance falls in her lap out of the blue, she does the first impulsive thing she's ever done. She buys a cottage in Hubbard's Annex. From there, things get a little twisty, whether it's her dementia or something within the house that's misplacing things. And she hears voices and hears singing. And in the backstory, we're finding out that her family life at home wasn't what she thought it was. And there are a lot of secrets buried in her past that are going to explain who she is now and what's going on now. So it's a little bit of a ghost story, a lot of love story, and a lot of Mackinac Island.
Now, this is part of a trilogy. Could you explain that and how they are all connected together?
While the characters have nothing in common, they all start in a small lakefront town called Edgewater. That is a little bit like the town I grew up in, St. Joe, down in the lower state on Lake Michigan. So it's important that there has to be water. I mean, how many lakes are there in this state? There has to be nature, and they all take place in summer. Granted, I like winters in Michigan, but summers are the best. And they're the easiest for storytelling, because if there's a kid in the story, they can go off and explore more than they would in the dead of winter.
Who would be the audience for these novels?
I thought initially that it would just be boomers like me. But as I've had it out there and heard from other people, it's a multi-generational adult book, but it's been crossing generations, and I've been happy to hear about that.
How can people get their hands on your books?
They're distributed through Ingram Spark, which means any bookstore can purchase them. So I'd like to support independent bookstores. While Snowbound doesn't have any in stock, you can order from them. And I would rather you ordered from an independent bookstore than Amazon. But as an independent publisher, it's tough to get my books into bookstores. So while I want to promote them, I also want to make sure that people can get the book. And if you don't have a bookstore nearby, go to Amazon. They're for sale there.
What do the books look like for people interested in finding them?
Okay, this one is Weeding Out the Lies. And they're by Wendy Simons or W. Simons, depending on how the bookstore decides to put them. This was the first one in the trilogy, A Second Look. And that takes place at a small inland lake cottage community with 5 families who are friends only by proximity. And most Michigan people will understand that. If you have a small lake cottage, you have friends for the summer that you may not see all winter long, but by proximity, they're buddies all summer. The kids may not appreciate it, but they tolerate it. And then Losing August takes place in the little town of Edgewater in a dilapidated amusement park that's about to be torn down. And that reflects an amusement park I grew up with in St. Joseph that was torn down the year I got out of high school.
Another book of yours won the National Indie Excellence Award for Regional Fiction. Can you tell us about that?
Stone by Stone is a book that I wrote about North Carolina. I lived there a couple of decades ago, made dear friends, worked at Mother Earth News when I was there. Stone by Stone is a family saga. I'd written over the course of 25 years. It's about Western North Carolina and the town of Chimney Rock, where I lived. When Helene came through, it wiped it out. When I was there in May, they still didn't have fresh water. They still didn't have sewers. Houses, buildings, businesses, pretty much wiped out. I was shocked by what I saw. So after Helene hit, the only thing I thought I could do was I published the book, and all the royalties from Stone by Stone go to Chimney Rock.
Thank you, Wendy. We will have all of that information available for you online at myupnow.com. Stay with us, and we'll be right back after the break.